Welcome back to another YouTube channel for the O.C.Tanner Factory Floor, where we help people thrive at work. Today we're going to talk a lot about how we do our full strategy period and how our report outs are a key instrument in that.
Yeah, so let's take off and let's go check out all of the great content that's been provided.
All right, so diving into the strategy period, as we began, remember, we started with offsite, right? When we all went offsite, and we're able to take all of the learnings from that into our cascade process that we talked about in our last video, and we take that to the catchball process. And then after catchball, those teams are setting goals. They're starting with a target, they're setting their lead and their lag goals. And if you want to learn more about, we do have another video on that. Mike did a wonderful video explaining our target, lead, and lag conditions, so definitely go check that out. And then we take a second to set those goals. So we'll talk about those target, lead, and lag conditions. And then that leads us into giving a rough draft of what those goals are.
Yeah, so the teams are going to come with a worksheet, a draft sheet that they're going to present to everyone else and say, hey, here's what we're thinking about doing. We have a target, a lead and lag, and a few graphs to show you how we're going to track that and try to be measurable. And in that group, we're going to have the leaders. So it'll be the executive vice president, and directors that are listening to those drafts, and they're going to be providing some feedback. So they may say, hey, I love what you've done with the lead measure. Help me understand a little bit more what you mean in your lag statement, because I'm not quite connecting with what you're trying to achieve there. And so that back and forth dialogue allows them to learn, and it also helps the leader understand, because again, the catchball is all about the team member saying, hey, here's what I'm going to do. How do you feel about this? This is going to be my contribution. And the leader saying, I like what you guys have chosen. This is great. Or I'm not quite following exactly what you've got here. We might want to make a couple adjustments.
I think the alignment is key, right? They might say this is a really important goal, but if you remember our strategy map, or if you remember what we're working on for the next year, this doesn't super align. And so there's a lot of opportunity for feedback. And then they take that feedback back to the teams. For example, in the shipping team, we take that back and say, hey, we got this feedback. We also agree with our leaders that we think this could be better, or how could we better measure this, or how could we implement this in a more effective way? And then usually we have some ideas given to us from our leaders, and we're able to take that back to our teams, make a new draft, and bring it back to our leaders for our final report.
Of course, when you're doing some strategy reporting for a rough draft session, got to mix in something sweet. We've got some pie here, apple, triple berry, pecan, and French silk. I like triple berry. So let's give this a try. Homemade by one of our great leaders. Ho ho ho. Get a little bit of whipped cream on there. Now this is the way to do some rough draft reporting, I'd say. So what's your favorite?
Honestly, my favorite is coconut cream, but it's really hard to keep sitting out on a table like this. It has to be refrigerated. So unfortunately, my family won't eat coconut cream tonight. But
that's nice.
But I brought pies that could sit out. Hope you like them.
So good. I wish you guys could also enjoy, but
yum, yum, yum.
I'm
Love
just gonna
pie day.
Eat this whole thing. Yeah, so some of you may be part of a support team or function where you're not necessarily in a production team, you're not producing anything, but you're providing services to the production teams that are producing. And so it's a little bit different model in that there's a little bit more back and forth. So in our product development team, the team that I lead, we have a bunch of engineers that are ready to do something to support those production teams, but we can't really choose our strategy and our goals until we know exactly what the production teams are going to be doing. And so once we hear what their final plan is, that allows us to have a last minute correction or adjustment in our draft and then say, okay, here is the list of our goals as it pertains to and aligns with the production team goals. And so there's a little bit more of a rush, and we need to be on top of things. We need to use our time wisely and communicate back and forth with those leaders of those areas and with the production teams so that we stay on track.
And then we take all of that important information that we've collaborated with and we've gotten all our feedback on, and we go to our final draft report outs. And there may be a little bit of feedback, but this is a big meeting. Everybody sits through everybody's report out. So I know the goals for the next 6 months for every single team in supply chain, and that includes support groups and that includes production groups. And every single one of us are able to be included in that. I believe group leaders and including team leaders, not team members, but every form of leadership within the supply chain is there in that room to listen to what everybody else is working on. And that's a long meeting. It's usually pretty long. Each team gets about 30 seconds to like 2 minutes, and they report out on what their goal is, and everybody gets a chance to align with that and say, oh shoot, we're working on the same thing, or oh my gosh, our goals are totally going to conflict, if that wasn't previously caught. And then they also get a chance to just have pure alignment. To know what your team next door is working on means that when you find something in your findings that you think could help them, you know about it and you know that it's going to affect them, so you're willing to yoke-attend or share that, right?
Yeah, I agree, Amberly. I really enjoy that process. I think it is important to have everyone there. You feel this sense of cohesiveness. You feel like all of us as we participate together, and the unity of all of those goals make a huge impact on the business and the corporation. And you think, hey, when there's 40 different teams that are coming with goals and we offer the results of those 40 goals to the company, that's a pretty big chunk of improvement there. So really a great process, and that's why it's important to have everyone there.
Absolutely. So all of this occurs in that very first month of strategy deployment. And then over the next 5 months, we're rolling out all of those improvements or ideas. But we take 5 months to just actually hammer down those ideas that we had and see what comes to fruition.
Yeah, and just a reference, halfway through that 5-month period, the leaders are going to go and visit with the teams at what we call Gemba visits. Go check out that video. It's really good. And so as you can see, as we talk about each piece of the strategy process, there's different elements to it. And now we have covered all of it.
Yep, that's everything.
Yeah. Really love this video. Everyone had a chance to report on their draft and their final report, their goals over the next 5 months. This completes the strategy deployment video set.
We hope that you'll check out some of the other videos on strategy deployment, and feel free to explore any of the other videos that we have on our channel. And we hope to see you back soon.
Really love this video. This concludes all of the strategy deployment videos that we have up to this point. The drafting and the recording.
I really love this video. It's so good. Sorry, that's
my tone a little off.
Just try one more time.
Okay. This is the way to do some rough draft reporting, I'd say. Wouldn't you say?
Josh, are you filming yourself eating pie?
Yeah.